Hello and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host Bryan. We're going to do a creator request today, which is where a smaller band gets in contact with me and asks me to check out their work. Today we're going to be looking at the band Maera. I got an email. It says, hello and good day to you. My name is Thomas Lav and I front an alternative metal project by the name of Maera from Serbia. I just released my first single, a music video titled Antfarm. I invested a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears into it, and it would mean the world to me if you would consider reacting to our music video. Thank you and best regards, Tomislav. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm always excited about checking out smaller bands, and as far as I know, we haven't had any bands from Serbia on the channel before, so this is a first for me as well. This is going to be pretty cool. So let's dig into this. The band is Maera. This is their track, Antfarm. Oh, okay, so what I thought was the downbeat was actually an offbeat. Small variation on the idea.
You want peace, I can sell you peace for a price. Nothing in this world is free. No life too valuable to sacrifice. Pay your taxes for their bonds. Presidents as regards with his drones. As the child scream slowly unfolds. Tell me, what are you living for today? Rise little insects. Tell me, what are you fighting for today? Rise up human, break out and speak. Step down from your throne, step down and face me. The hunger, the
Lots of variety on the vocal side of things.
body, your heart, and drink your soul. These people never stood up. Step down from your throne, step down and face me. The hunger, the sickness and death. I'll rip on your heart and drink your soul.
Really nice synergy there. When the vocals hold on a note, we get the held out note in the guitar as well.
Egocentric. Does your voice really matter at all? Strings of your puppeteer are starting to show. How much longer till we sell our bodies for the piece of paper and a hot meal? Behold the perfect system finally awake. Tell me, what are you living for today? Rise little insects. Tell me, what are you fighting for today? Rise up human, break out and speak.
Really catchy lines too in our hooks.
Face me, the hunger, the sickness and death. I rip out your heart and drink your soul. These people never stood up. Step down from your throne, step down and face me. The hunger, the sickness and death. I'll rip out your heart and drink your soul. These people never stood a chance.
It almost sounded like it was over. I'm curious where this is going now.
Step down from your throne, step down and face me. The hunger, the sickness and death.
Yeah, okay.
Your soul. These people never stood a chance.
Yeah, I can get behind that. It's got a lot of the punch of metal, but very little of the abrasiveness of it. I think we only get the pure heavy vocals in our bridge, and it's the latter half of the bridge too. Other than that, I don't think there's anything on here that would prevent it from being aired on a local radio station. And like I said, I can get behind that. I'm always down for the impact that metal brings without some of the abrasion that more extreme metal brings with it. I like that middle ground there, and I think this one does a fantastic job of it. Something else I absolutely loved was the sheer variety in this. We never really stuck on a specific idea for more than a couple of repetitions. There was always some variation to be had, even when we look at our intro. We get two plays of our electronic sound that leads into our guitar tone, our guitar riff with that electronic sound, and the riff actually comes in half a beat early. It allows the beginning of the song to have this little bit of betrayal in it, where I felt like the downbeat was at the beginning of the electronic line when it wasn't. It actually is the downbeat of the beginning of the guitar riff. The electronic part comes in on the and of one against that guitar riff, so it actually feels like it comes in a hair bit early because I had my entire timeline shifted half a beat later. But once we get that, eventually, I think it's like one repetition later, the electronic bit gets pulled out, and then the next repetition we shift to left pan only on the guitar, and it's more compressed and condensed. And then we go into our verse, which continues the idea with the vocals on top of it. And so, in the span of like 30 or 40 seconds, we have seen four versions of this one idea already. And this is something I absolutely love. It allows the song to uh, continuously shift but never feel disjointed. Everything feels connected to what came before it because everything is a variation of an idea. And this doesn't stop there either. We continue to see this idea represented throughout pretty much the entire track. Our chorus to our pre-chorus, I mean, our verse to our pre-chorus to our chorus to our post-chorus all feel very similar. But they all have their own identities as well. Our verse is a bit more subdued. I think we shift to like a muted version of the same riff on the guitar. The second time we hit the verse, I think it's just drums, if I remember correctly. And there is a multitude of vocal styles that go along with this as well. We have the growls underneath clean vocals. We have growls underneath yells. We have sort of just like that raspy fry crackle, just really getting down in there and getting to the bottom of your vocal range and allowing that crackle to come out. And it's just like I said, like every 2 or 4 bars, we're shifting vocal styles and we're shifting musical styles as well. Like I said, we have the palm muted guitar, we go back to a full guitar, we bring in synths, we shift from riffs to chords, but it's all based on a single idea, and it feels like a very natural evolution for every single one of these sections. So much so that I'm honestly not even sure what the structure is. I called it verse, pre-chorus, chorus, post-chorus, but that's just because I feel four different ideas that are repeated in the overall phrase. So for all I know, it's completely linear. It's just A, B, C, D as far as the band is concerned. We repeat this idea though once. This four section phrasing. We repeat it once. We go into our bridge though, and I honestly thought the song was over. The second chorus or second post chorus ends with a scream over nothing. Fades out and just kind of sits there. Visually, in the music video, our vocalist is looking at the camera, and that's kind of a pretty clear point that the song's over. It was like, I don't know, a bar and a half later, the electronic bit comes in again. Just one riff, then another, and then we got the cycle going. And it brings us back into the bridge. And here we went to full screams. And very cool way to ramp up the intensity. But what was also interesting is that we began to introduce a lead guitar line that we hadn't heard before. We had riffs that were sort of an underlying foundational thing. We had chords also foundational in our chorus. The guitar never really took a lead. That was for our vocalist and our synthesizer. Here, though, the guitar gets a lead guitar line, and it goes. I don't remember if it was behind the screaming or if it was between the screaming and coming back into our final chorus, but either way, it led us into our final chorus. And it continued on. It actually made this section feel so much bigger. We had an extra layer on it. Our vocals were still layered. We had the growls underneath and the higher yells up top. We had the electronic line that we've heard all throughout this track present. The drums were going. I mean, it was just a very full bodied way to end this while also introducing a counterpoint basically to our vocal work and adding that extra layer on the top end to really fill it out. Fantastic way to end the track. I'm all about that final chorus variation. So, yeah, I dig this. Now, some specifics I really want to get into. As I mentioned, the guitar work is mostly these simpler riffs. The synthesizer idea is one idea. We get a variation on it, but it's mostly this heavy, delayed, reverbed eighth note concept. The drums pretty much sit in the pocket the entire track. They're all very simple, which goes along with the alternative metal idea. There's nothing in here that is really pushing the bounds of theory or anything like that. It is just a song that feels good at every moment without ever really getting into anything technical or proggy or anything like that. And that is perfectly fine. Like I said, I really enjoyed this track. But I don't want to say I enjoyed it in spite of the music. I don't think the music was bad. It did its job, right? Like I've said many times before, each song is going to have specific goals, and your instruments and melodies and chords and all that need to support the goals in mind. And this one is not to be some sort of technical, shreddy kind of thing. This is a nice anthem track. You don't want technical music. But they weren't the parts that stood out to me. What really got me to attach to this track is the vocal work, the variety of it, the dynamics of it, the sheer number of vocal deliveries, the charisma in the vocalist, especially in the full-bodied vocal ones, not the yells that we got in the chorus, and not the whisper stuff. Not the whisper stuff, the low end fry crackle stuff. But no, the one in between. There's a real strong charismatic element to that full bodied singing that I really enjoyed. And it's not even just the variety either. It's the layering, it's the pairing, it's the bringing multiple of these vocal styles together. Um, this definitely feels like, well, like I mentioned earlier, a radio rock band where the vocalist is going to be the huge separator from, between them and other bands similar to them. And I think this band has what it takes for that. Um, I see they have an album out. I didn't know they did. This one is, what is it called? I don't know. I gotta check this real quick. For some reason, I thought this was the only track they had. Whoops. Gotta love YouTube and autoplay. Oh, from Echo the Howl. This was from a few years ago, though. Looks like 2018, possibly. So it's been a while since they put music out. This is a fantastic way to get back into it. Yeah, it looks like 3 years since their last video. Yeah, this is a fantastic way to get back into it, to showcase what they're doing. I'm probably going to go check out their last album because I enjoyed this. Um, Not expecting this level. If it's there, that's awesome. If it's not, like I said, it's an older work. So, I expect bands to improve over time. But yeah, I'm I'm pretty stoked. I enjoyed this. Let me dig into the lyrics real quick, and then we'll wrap this video up. All right, looks like the lyrics are calling out injustices of society. Particularly, it looks like the failings of, well, at least from my perspective, is capitalism and the unwillingness for government to help out the people they're supposed to govern. Our first verse is all about selling peace. No life is too valuable for sacrifice. Pay your taxes for the bombs. Presidents send regards with drones. Um, I don't know much about Serbia's government. Naturally, I'm seeing a lot of parallels with the U.S. government here. I'm not sure if this is about the U.S. in particular. I'm gonna just chalk it up to my biases, given that that's my experience, and say that there might be, there's a possibility that this is about the Serbian government. The chorus though says, "What are you living for?" Maybe this is the pre-chorus. "What are you living for, little insect? What are you fighting for? Rise up, human, break out and speak. Step down from your throne, face me, the hunger, the sickness, the death. These people never stood a chance." Our second verse says, "Elect the egocentric. Does your voice really matter? Strings of your puppeteer are starting to show. How much longer till we break? We sell our bodies for a piece of paper and a hot meal. Behold the perfect system finally awake." So yeah, the people that we elect aren't the people that ever really help us. And sometimes it might even feel like the people we vote for never get elected anyways. So, does our voice really matter at all? At the end of the day, we work, we sell our body, physical labor, for pieces of paper, money, so that we can get a hot meal. And that's all that we can really afford these days, living paycheck to paycheck. And I like how the cynicism here, behold the perfect system, right? That sarcastic, tongue-in-cheek view of this, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer concept. And that's pretty much the entire track there. It's about calling out injustices that they see around them, primarily by the one percenters of the world, keeping everybody else under their boot, keeping us all in the ant farm, working as drones and workers with no time for rest or relaxation. We work for the colony. That's it. So yeah, not too many, I would say, thematic ties between this and the lyrics. We definitely get a bit of aggression in the lyrics, which I think stuff like this needs to be screamed. People need to hear it. But otherwise, I wouldn't say there's anything in the instrumental musical aspect of it that really ties the themes together. But as I've said many times in the past, that is not a necessity for good music. Sometimes you just write some killer music and some great lyrics and you just smash them together. They don't necessarily need to support each other. So, those are my thoughts on Maera's Antfarm. That's where y'all come in. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this or not. Anything that stood out to you, anything you'd like to add on to what I said. Put that stuff in the comment section. Above that is a description box, and in there you'll find links for Maera, their social media links, and their streaming platforms. Above the description box, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And make sure if you go to any of their sites, also show them some love, like, subscribes, follows, whatever. We have one more creator request today. Otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UTC as usual. We're going to check out a special selection and something else. I'm not sure yet. Weird thing about not having this planned out on Monday. Just kind of taking it day by day now, and I really don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I know I got a special selection lined up. That's it. So until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.